Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back, baby. We are back with another edition of the Off the Dome show. Very excited for today's show. We have so much to discuss and so much to dive into. I am your host, Thomas Brown Jr. No interview today. It's just me. So you had to deal with my shenanigans for a little bit, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we go any further, I got to tell you about my friends, the sponsors of today's episode. It's fanatics.com, man. The NFL playoffs is here. It is time to rock and roll and to rep your team the right way. So why not do yourself a favor and visit fanatics.com. Go get you some merch, get you a jersey, get you a foam finger, whatever suits your fancy to rep your team as they go on their playoff run. Or if they didn't make the playoffs, go ahead and grab you something anyway. Make you feel like you're a part. But again, sponsors of today's episode is fanatics.com. Go ahead and visit their website and go copy a little jersey or two. All right. So got quite a bit to discuss here. Obviously, we had the college football semi-playoff last night between Penn State and Notre Dame, which was interesting. I think that is an argument to be made. I think, and I was at work watching the game, so I was dipping dabbing in between, just so I don't know, you don't lose your job. But it was a solid game. Before I go any further, I think I would be remiss if I didn't take a time out to share my thoughts and prayers for those who are dealing with the California wildfires. Some people are losing their homes. We had a couple people that have lost their loved ones during that stretch. So just wanted to send my condolences, my thoughts and prayers. Everybody, get to safety the best way possible. Please stay safe. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I saw something yesterday about JJ Redick losing his home in the midst of this. And that's just a name we know because, he's a head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But, there's, family members who, trying to think of a way to get their lives together, after dealing with these wildfires. So just want to take an opportunity to send out my thoughts and prayers. Any way you can and donate to wherever is necessary for you to donate to help them out. I'm pretty sure is greatly appreciated. Yeah, man, just be safe out there. It's pretty sad. And I think it just goes to show when you have the first responders, the firefighters who, this is their job to to be put on the front lines to deal with situations like this. You know, you had to think about them and their families because you never know what could happen um, on that side of things. Them trying to, you know, beat the beat the fire to the punch, if you will, for the sake of others who are trying to get to safety. So um, stay safe out there, firefighters. We appreciate you. Um, you know, may not know your names, but it doesn't mean that the work and the efforts that you're putting in on a daily basis does not go unnoticed in the midst of this um, trial and tribulation, if you will. So, yeah, man, just keep them lifted up, and yeah, man, just stay safe out there. Um, but back to the game. Like I said, I was like in and out of it, so like I didn't watch the full all 22 of what was going on. So I missed some plays here and there. But I was watching that game and I sat there and was just like, this is kind of bizarre. How bizarre? I will never know. But I noticed it's pretty bizarre. I didn't realize, I didn't realize until after the game how many people bet on this game. I thought that this was just a game that people were just kind of like, we wasn't really sure about because of the quarterbacks. But there were a lot of people that betted on Penn State to win that game last night. And we saw a performance from Aller where it just looked like Jameis Winston in Tampa. And I think that's putting it nicely. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. And it's just crazy when you think about it, because Penn State has a lot of guys. Carter, who wasn't healthy in that game, busted his tail for that entire game and was causing pressures all over the place. I mean, the comparisons is very valid. I'm watching Micah Parsons out there, and that is with him being bent out of shape right now. When he gets healthy, it might get a little dicey. We might mess around and have him be in the conversation for the top number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Which sounds crazy to say, but you just never know. Like, if you're the Titans and you're just not sure about, Shador and Cam Ward, and you want to just go with Carter, don't blame you. That's how good he is. Just NFL guys all over the place on defense. You have a tight end who is probably going to be top 20 as well in the draft. You have one of the running backs, Singleton, who you can make the argument is one of the best running backs in the nation as well. If he were to go to the draft today, I'm pretty sure he would start for some teams. So you have all this talent across the field, and it didn't matter because the quarterback was like just terrible. Like, it was obnoxious to see some of the throws that he missed. Some guys were wide open. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, this can't possibly get worse, right? Apparently I was wrong, because it kept getting progressively worse. And then, when you think about the fact that they had a lead and it was blown, it was just crazy. And Marcus Freeman, man, like, I wonder what the conversation was at halftime. Like, because the team that you saw in the first half versus the team that you saw in the second half was night and day. And it was kind of like, wow, like, this seems more so like the Notre Dame team that beat Georgia. You know, like this is the Notre Dame team that has been, you know, putting belt to ass throughout this entire playoff. You saw that in the second half, and man, I mean, just major shout out to Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame, man. It was a great game. You lost your left tackle in the middle of that game. Now, honestly, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that regardless of whether it's Ohio State or Texas, even if they get blown out by 50, this is still a successful, I mean this, a successful season by Notre Dame, because I'm be honest, I'll be the first one to tell you they were not supposed to be here. They were not supposed to be here. They were not supposed to beat Georgia. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be upfront and say it. They were not supposed to beat Georgia. Like some of these matchups were not beneficial to Notre Dame, and yet they found a way to pull it out and win anyway. And you know, it's just a testament to Marcus Freeman, his leadership on that roster, a group of young men who just fight hard for each other, and you just saw that play in and play out, and it showed. And it was just incredible. It really was. And unfortunately for James Franklin, like we kind of going back to square one again when it comes to James Franklin. Like, damn, like you just can't win the big one, can you? Like, you know, are we just gonna hope for, I don't know, Wisconsin to get into the playoffs so that way you can get to the national championship game? You know, like what will it be for you to finally get to the mountaintop and to actually win it? You know, it's just pretty crazy. It's just pretty crazy. So congratulations to Notre Dame. Great game. Shout out to Marcus Freeman for leading that group. We'll see what they do against Ohio State and Texas, who play tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. You know, it's so funny because this time of year is where I can actually engage more into college football. I don't really have a fandom when it comes to college football teams. I'll never forget the one, you know, the year Johnny Manziel was at Texas A&M and was going crazy, and you know, won the Heisman, all that good fun stuff. I remember being a fan then, but it was more so being a fan of Johnny and the stuff that he was doing. Not necessarily of a team. So I'm still undecided on a team. I would love to do Penn State so I can stay with a Philly team, but they're just finding ways to let everybody else down. Kind of don't want to be a part of that mess. But yeah. It's just incredible when you get to see the best of the best be on the gridiron for 60 minutes, and the better team won. The tougher team won. And Notre Dame showed that last night. So shout out to y'all. Y'all deserve it. Win, lose, or draw next week. Y'all deserve it. Fantastic season. Wow. So we have some breaking news as well. Don't carry a lot of light in talking about this, because obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt. But I just saw on this wonderful phone here notification saying that from Adam Schefter saying that Deshaun Watson, who, mind you, ended this past season rupturing his Achilles and had to get surgery on it. We just heard from Schefter not too long ago that he has ruptured that Achilles tendon again. And if it's one of those things where if you are a Cleveland, like if you're in the Cleveland Browns front office, like you gotta be like kicking yourself. Like, we are going to have a top 5 pick in the draft. We're trying to figure out if we can salvage Deshaun or not, if we can be patient on his recovery. We know that we still owe him all of $250 million guaranteed. Like, we're still trying to weigh that out. Then we have guys who step in for him, like a Jameis Winston, like a Joe Flacco last year, where they play well and the offense just it was playing like a competent offense. Yes, shout out to us. That's what we do. But it's just like, what do you do if you're in the front office today? You can't get rid of him. You can't trade him. Like, he's just going to be sitting there. And no matter what you do with, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the 2nd overall pick in the draft. You can get your Cam Ward. You can get your Shedeur Sanders. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. You're still going to suck, and you're still going to have to deal with Deshaun Watson in his contract. And literally, he is going to be recovering. First of all, I do want to ask this one question because it's fair. How do you rupture your Achilles tendon in the same leg in a span of less than 2 months? How? Seriously, like, it's one thing if it was like, I mean, obviously it's unfortunate regardless, duh, right? But it would be one thing if it was like on a separate leg. No, he re-ruptured it on the same exact Achilles tendon. So whatever surgery was done or whatever recovery process that he was on did not work. And it's screwing him over big time. It's just really unfortunate that Cleveland's in this position. But yet again, this is an example of a desperate franchise who wanted to be as relevant as possible, just for guys like myself or different podcasts and different shows on different networks can talk about them. This is the risk that you take when you make rash decisions like that. And it's just ridiculous. It just really is. Remember, D Rose tore his Achilles, his ACL. But see, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but he tore it in the other leg. Like I said, we don't know what the recovery process was behind the scenes. We do not know that. We do not know those intricacies. We really don't. And I'm not even going to start to act like I can dig in and be that type of guy to do that. I'm not. But the fact that some way, somehow, you were able to rupture that same part of your body in the span of less than 2 months, even after you got surgery, is not a good look. Like, we have to wonder if you're even going to play football again, let alone, play quarterback. We got to see if you're even going to play football again, which is an honest question to ask. Which, if he says, you know what, don't really feel like playing football no more. Sucks to be a Browns fan, because y'all still going to have to cough up all that guaranteed money. It's really unbelievable. It really is. But yeah, I really don't have anything else more to say on it. I mean, him and the allegations. There's so much stuff that has gone on with Deshaun Watson in the span of the last 2 to 3 years. That it's just I don't know. It's hard to talk about him today. It really is. To go from one thing that's challenging to discuss to another, obviously, there is some allegations going on in Fox Sports with the likes of Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho, Skip Bayless, and I'm sorry, I do not know the hairdresser's name right now, so forgive me. It's blanking on my head right now. This whole lawsuit situation, and I took a major step back to reassess how I felt about the whole matter. Because in case anybody has been living under a rock or was wondering, Joy Taylor is my celebrity crush. I said it. Okay. It's a real thing. Okay. She is finer than wine itself. And there's nothing that you can do to remove that from my eye sockets. Okay. But outside of her beauty alone, she's really great at what she does. And she's been doing this for years now. Okay. So when I saw that this came about, I was like, you know what? Let me take a step back. Let me actually assess the 42 pages or whatever. Let me figure out what this is all about, where we're really going here. Obviously, the highlights are stuff like, Skip Bayless, which I want to add this part too, because I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about it enough. Unless I missed something, Skip Bayless is a married man paying somebody $1.5 million, offering sex on the table. Just saying. You have that. Then you have this whole little weird conundrum with Joy Taylor and Sam and Manuel Acho, right? That whole thing. Okay. Now, this is bias aside. This is my personal perspective on just the whole ordeal. Okay. Obviously, I am aware that these are allegations. This may be true. This may not be true, depending on who you talk to, depending on what you know, depending on what you think you know. The list goes on and on. Got it. Okay. So there's a couple fronts that I want to go with this. Okay. Number one is I find it very convenient that since this has come about, we are seeing all these reports from different people about how Joy Taylor didn't even do good on the screenings. She should never got the jobs in the first place. All this other stuff. Guys didn't want to work with her. All this other nonsense. Okay. And I just find it very convenient that it took this to pop up for someone to say those things. Because the year is 2025. Joy Taylor's been in this industry for 10 plus years now, if not longer. Has been a part of hosting Undisputed. Has been a part of The Herd with Colin Cowherd. being a co-host on that show as well. Then having to do what she's doing with Speak. Like, this is stuff that she's been doing for years. And I just find it very convenient that now that this comes up, now no one wants to work with her. Now, she should never earn this position in the first place. Very convenient for that to be said about her today. Just want to put that out there. That's number one. Number two is, I'm going to just say it. Is this what society is coming to now? Where we're keeping tabs on who's sleeping with who? Like, can we please be adults, please? Okay. The fact that we are keeping tabs, and I hate to add the visual out there, but the fact that we're keeping tabs about what Joy Taylor is doing in her personal time, I think that's the most PG way I could say it. At least right now, anyways. It's ridiculous. Like, we're just keeping tabs on who's sleeping with who. Like, for what? And if it bothered you for as long as it did, you wait until now to say something, which now leads me to wonder, what was the breaking point that led for you to finally say something this past Sunday? It's a very compelling thing to think about. And it's like, so now all of a sudden, Joy Taylor's hard-earned work, all the sacrifices that she's made behind the scenes that no one knows about, all the different obstacles that she has to go through already with her being a woman in sports media, I should say. Yeah, all that is tainted because she slept her way to the top. Like, it's really crazy. I need real receipts before I can believe any of it. Joy is good at her job, period. Hating from your mom. Seriously. Like, I'm like, and you know what? You know what's so funny about all this too? Is that for so many instances, this has been like a, we're women, we're going to support our fellow women no matter what it is, to the best of our ability, and we're going to be there to support one another. Well, how do you think this makes Joy look with this being at the forefront of everybody's eyelids? And it coming from another woman. Like, it's not a good look. Okay? And it's just, I don't know. I just have a real hard time having to have a lot of sensitivity behind the allegations with this, when it's like Joy Taylor slept with everybody, and that's why she got every position that she had. And, there was an instance where we was at a birthday party together, and we were all at a birthday party together, and somebody went after my booty, and I went to her about it, and she said, get over it. And I took it as a personal affront, and I held on to it and felt some type of way about it, and then waited this long to say something. Really? 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 This is what we're doing now. Like, it's like, how old are we? How old are we? Some of this stuff is juvenile, like high school stuff even. It's mind-blowing to me. And then it gets even weirder because guess what? Because of this situation, we have so many eyes on their respective shows. So Emmanuel Acho and his show got a lot more eyes on the product because of this, and not in a good way. Then you have Joy, who is hosting Speak, where literally everybody on the set is like trying to figure out how to operate around her, knowing what's going on. It's one of those things where it's just, honestly, it's ridiculous. And for me personally, I wouldn't feel as strongly, or I wouldn't feel this sort of way about this if you had kept it about, okay, the Fox exec. You had kept it about Skip. If you had did that, and then you added Joy Taylor's side of things to it and basically said, hey, like, what she has right now, she didn't earn it. She slept her way to get there. It's like, guys, like, she's been doing this for 10 years. Now all of a sudden we're hearing stuff about, oh, I never liked working with her. She don't know what she's doing. She don't know what she's talking about. Guys, stop. Please. I find that very, very convenient to hear those things today. I really do. And look, my thing is, these are allegations. This is something that's going to be an ongoing thing, which is very unfortunate, because when it comes to stuff like this, like, you have just so many questions of, like, literally what the hell is going on. And it's like, it's just really rough when you think about it. So I just had to share my 2 cents on it. I think it's BS that we had to, like, kind of like add that little tidbit in there. Like, yeah, so Skip Bayless offering me $1.5 million to try to have sex with me. Yeah, that's not really a big deal. The Fox exec, whatever he had going on, and the abuse of power, if you will, that he had during this time. Yeah, that's not really the forefront either. What I want to predicate my time towards is highlighting the fact that Joy Taylor does not deserve what she's gotten. It's not earned. She didn't do it the right way. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She slept her way to get there, and that's it, and that's all. Like, come on, guys. Come on. And if you had to make it about something else, that's all you had to do. Just say that this is about a totally different manner. And I promise you, it will be perceived in a totally different way. It's not. It's not. And that's what makes this whole thing challenging for me. It really does. So, yeah, I mean, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all thoughts are on the situation. I know there's a lot of different, vantage points and a lot of things you can take away and glean from it. But it's just very unfortunate on all fronts. And honestly, no one really wins when this is all said and done. Like, if this comes about that this isn't true, just a simple fact that another woman has no problem putting this out there has already, unfortunately, tainted women in sports and the hard work that they do behind the scenes and all the obstacles that they have to climb to get to be on ESPN, to have podcasts, to be a part of Fox, to do all these sorts of things. It just taints that. It really does. I heard Christy Love from Team MBS Media following the play the other day, sharing her insight on it. And it sucks. Like, because no matter how many times you would have to prove it, literally, it does not matter. Whether it proves true that this is something that Joy was doing behind the scenes, or there's something that it wasn't true that Joy was doing behind the scenes, it's something that's going to be tainted when it comes to women in sports all the time. It's something that will always be thought about in the back of a viewer's mind when they're watching their favorite show that's hosted by a woman. or is having a segment where a woman is involved. It's tainted regardless. No one wins. Like, it's one of those things where what do you gain out of it? Seriously, what do you gain out of it? So that's my 2 cents on it. I know I just went on a rant, but it's just extremely frustrating, and it's disappointing that this is even really a thing, to be honest with you. But this is the Off the Dome show. We are going to have a commercial break. We'll be right back with you.
Streetwear is not dead. The next wave of black fashion comes out of the Bronx, New York. Rich Kid Clothing, picking up where FUBU, Rockaware, and Kyle Kanai left off. Rich Kid is for the next generation of Get Fly fashion heads. Use promo code MELLOW23 for 15% off your next order. And for orders over $100, there is free shipping. Again, use promo code MELLOW23 for 15% off your next order.
In 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with a simple mission: build the cooler we use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiasts rather than for mass discount retailers. One that could take the abuse we knew we'd put it through, out in the field and on the water. One that simply wouldn't break. We decided early on that production innovation would come from necessity and first-hand experience, not from market research and data analysis. Today, Yeti products perform when it matters most. Whether that be an excursion into the remote Alaskan wilderness, chasing redfish on the Gold Coast, or just getting together with friends in the backyard, we make gear that helps you stay out longer, travel farther, and live harder. Hashtag built for the wild.
Boys and girls, welcome back to the Off the Dome show. I am, of course, your host, Thomas Brown Jr. here on the ones and twos today. As y'all can see by the title of this episode, I don't know if y'all recognized it, but depending on what side of the US you're at, it's not hot. It's not hot at all. It's really, really, really cold. I'm actually, it's so funny. I am in the San Antonio, Texas area. Okay. So usually when you hear the word Texas, when you hear the place Texas, you think, okay, no matter what time of year it is, it's guaranteed it's going to be hot. Very rarely it's going to get cold. May have a lot of rain or whatever case may be, depending on what spot you are at. But chances are, don't really have to deal with cold a lot. It's going to be hot. And I'm looking at the weather app every single day. The high is 42 degrees. The high. Okay. Now, I will say this. I am extremely grateful. Okay, because my anemic ass will be the first one to tell you I have family up north in the Maryland area that is dealing with nothing but snow. And from what was told to me yesterday, apparently there is more coming between today and tomorrow. So I am extremely grateful. Please don't get me wrong. However, dog, it is this little cold thingy-majiggy is not for the weak. And it's just kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Like I'm layering up. I'm like, damn, like what? Am I back home again? Like, what is this? It's extremely cold. Wherever you're at, man, just stay warm the best way you know how. The good news is that This is not going to be something that will be here forever, at least on my end, at least. Supposed to have better weather come the end of next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. But geez Louise, it is extremely cold. It is cold for no reason. I don't like it. Me being anemic makes it even worse. I be sitting up there, my hands be going like this, trying to move, trying to walk. Legs be twitching all over the place. It's ridiculous. Don't like it. Can't stand it. Don't want to be around it. I'm walking popsicle. Don't like it this way. But yeah, man, it's extremely cold. I just had to put that out there. For those of you who are dealing with that snowstorm, be safe out there as well. Because, there's a lot of people that's getting snowed in and, trying to make the most out of it, still have to go to work every single day despite all this that's going on. So, yeah, man, just hold your own, survive it the best way you know how. But I do find it ironic though that the one time that I'm not in Maryland, it decides to be a whole blizzard, which is something that I've wanted because, sometimes I would be at, I would have a job and be sitting up there like, yes, it would be really nice to have, an early exit to go home so that way I can enjoy the rest of my day or, just not having to work at all and just getting paid, in some cases, not too bad. Getting paid for being at home, not too wrong with that. But I don't know. Kind of jealous, kind of happy, kind of sappy, in between. But it's cool in the game. It's cool in the game. So we got the playoffs coming up tomorrow. I believe it's the Ravens and Steelers, which I think is going to be a snooze fest by the time we finish the first quarter. And I think that's even with the Ravens not having Zay Flowers. I just think the Pittsburgh's offense is just completely inept right now. They just don't know how to operate, and it's showing like a lot. So for those of you who are thinking about betting on that game, if you have to put your life savings on it, Baltimore's kind of the way to go. You have the Chargers in Houston. Now, you know what's funny about this game? I thought for sure, like for the past few weeks, because of how Houston's played, you're kind of like thinking that it's leaking a lot more oil than expected. You think that, they haven't really recovered since the Tank Dell injury, which was a brutal blow for them. But this is actually a closer matchup than the people are getting credence for. Now, I still have the Chargers winning this game. But it's going to be extremely tough. It really is. To see how CJ plays, despite how the offensive line has dealt him such a bad hand this year. It'll be the Chargers on the road, which they would rather have that than be at home because it seems like their fans only show up when they feel like it in Vegas out of all places, but that's neither here nor there. It's actually a closer matchup than people are getting credit for. And I think CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, I think the defense, who's actually been relatively solid this year, middle of the pack in some statistical categories. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think it's going to be a straight up, Chargers beat them down, blowout. I don't. I think it's going to be a lot closer. Might be a little bit down to the wire, if you will. And the Chargers pull it out that way. But yeah, that might be the one tricky game of the week, if I'm being honest. Then you have Sunday. We have Philly and Green Bay. Jalen Hurts is playing that game. We are still unsure about Jordan Love playing in this game. We all know that Christian Watson tore his ACL last week, which was an extreme blow to the Packers wide receiving core. We'll see how much that affects them on Sunday. But it'll be an interesting showdown. It's a rematch of week 1 when they played in Brazil. It's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. Let's just see Philly pull that one out and do it in a convincing fashion. Okay, I think that would suit my fancy and have me sleep well at night. But we shall see, because that Packers defense is no joke. They have no problem taking the ball away from you and taking it away from you often. So, the Packers, Eagles, that's going to be an interesting matchup. We got the Bills and Broncos. A lot of people sleeping on Denver, man. I am not saying that Denver wins this game, but don't be surprised if we get to halftime and it's a one-score matchup. Do not be surprised. I think Denver has the defense that could at least withstand some of the heroics of Josh Allen, who's having an MVP season. I don't know. It might mess around and be a stingy 24-17 type of feel to it, is what it is to me. Denver's scrappy. They have the defense to do it. They have a quarterback who, yes, he may give the ball away, but he's starting to really, really do a better job of taking care of the football. I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely will take Buffalo in that game, but it's not going to be a blowout. I'll tell you that right now. Let me see. Am I missing another one? We have the Vikings and the Rams. Sam Darnold has a lot to play for on Monday night. I think that is fair to say. This guy went from a lot of people, including myself, behind the scenes, like, is this guy worth $40 million? 45? The win streak keeps growing. It's like, damn, are we going to mess around and tilt her with 50? Not saying that was the case with me, but trust me, there's plenty of people that's heard it. That if their franchise said that they're willing to pay Sam Darnold $50 million today, they wouldn't mind it. I think it's kind of egregious, but whatever. We went from that to seeing what we saw on Sunday night, where literally you can say he was having his New York Jets moment, where he was seeing ghosts again, with Aaron Glenn in the Detroit Lions defense throwing the kitchen sink and everything else there is at him, and him missing these throws to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Some of these throws were like relatively easy. Like there are stuff that's like, if you just throw it in the right spot, there was a possible touchdown. There was a third down conversion to be had. So this game actually holds a lot of weight for Sam Darnold. Breaking news, right? But I'll say this, guys. Sam Darnold recreates what he did on Sunday Night Football against Detroit. He can stay a Viking next year. but it will be J.J. McCarthy standing in front of him on that depth chart. Which I know it sounds crazy to say. He is still an unknown, still a major question mark, given the fact that he literally torn his meniscus. This is why he didn't even get a shot this year. And I don't know if y'all have seen him on Sunday night or not when he was walking sidelines. That guy's lost some weight. I think that's fair to say. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the recovery is playing a huge factor on it. I don't know, but he looks like he shouldn't be playing football. His body weight does not look like he needs to be playing football. He looks like he needs to be, getting in somebody's swimming pool and trying to save somebody's life as a lifeguard or something. I don't know. But I don't know. It's yeah, Sam Darnold, this is a big game for you, man. Because the last time the Vikings and the Rams played was on a Thursday night. Now, granted, that ended controversially, which really wasn't. Like, whether the face mask was called or not, it was not going to change anything, in my personal opinion. But we have a lot of people to this day throwing their torches and pitchforks saying, hey, if we got that call, we would have had a way to go down the field and score. But they forgot that they only had one timeout left to work with. Sure, whatever. But this is deja vu all over again. Rams at home, Vikings on the road. Vikings, let's see how you look. Sam, let's see how you look. Because if there is any resemblance of what we saw on Sunday night, whatever leverage you thought you had, blow that goodbye. Sayonara. So there's a lot on the line for Sam Darnold on Monday night. There's some good games this week, which not very often you could say about a wild card weekend. Usually you have some games that's just like, this game's going to be over before we know it. And there might be games this week that might end up being that way, but, I don't know, man. It's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be some kind of weekend for sure. And lastly, I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that WWE was on Netflix this past Monday. And I gotta say, it was a spectacle to behold. It really was, man. It seemed like everybody that was in the arena had a very, very good time. A lot of wild stuff that happened, as far as the match card and everything. We had a Hulk Hogan sighting, which I'm going to be the first one to tell you, and I'm pretty sure lots of people have as well. I am so glad they took it upon themselves the moment his music hit to boo the hell out of him. Boo the hell out of him. To let him hear it. It was fantastic. I don't know. And I think they even brought him out there because they were trying to promote his beer that he has going on. Literally, you could have done that on a commercial, to be honest with you. That just wasted time. But watching that, seeing John Cena on his farewell tour, seeing Punk versus Rollins was incredible. Just all the matches were fantastic. We saw The Undertaker, which is always good to see, with the American Badass theme, by the way, which was also cool. We had Travis Scott performing and smoking a blunt in the process. Did not foresee that on my bingo card. on a WWE show that's on Netflix. But I mean, if that's what they're allowing, that's what we're doing, then I'm with it. I'm with it all the way. It was just a great show all the way around, and it was just fantastic. It really was. And it'll be interesting to see what they do this upcoming Monday. And see how it pans out. Me being a huge wrestling fan, me just having to watch it, just for the love of the game, if you will. It's mwah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm just glad that everybody's able to consume it and enjoy it in their own special way. And everybody's having a good time. It's fantastic. It's fantastic to see. Before we get out of here, gotta let you know that Saturday and Sunday we're going to have a lot of content, a lot of shows ready for you. We're going to have our reaction to the Texas Ohio State game. As soon as it ends, we will be here. Our college crew has done a spectacular job with their post game shows, breaking everything down, their insights, their perspectives on the game, and the thoughts moving forward in the following week. They do such a great job. Shout out to Bill Carroll, Brock Vieira. The list goes on and on. Greg Rector. They're doing a great job. So get a chance to see them when Ohio State and Texas goes off and concludes. We have Moving the Chains on Sunday. Gotta confirm on the time, so I don't want to mislead you. But I think we'll be having it at a later time this week. Because of the playoffs starting a little bit later on in the day. So when we get that out, make sure to let you know, fill you in on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be a part of the Moving the Chains episode this Sunday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You get to see me be a fool for another extended period of time, which is a lot of fun. And I'm trying to think, am I missing anything else? I think we're good. Oh, lastly, we have the last word, ironically, with Greg Rector. Late night on Saturdays, 11 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead and check that out. Give him a listen. All of this will be on Team MBS Media on YouTube. That's where you'll see all of our stuff, man. And also, we appreciate you tuning in to today's show. We appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing, following us on all of our platforms. TikTok, who's, oh boy, it's going to be banned pretty soon. Womp womp. Actually, it's it's coming to an end on that one, which sucks. But TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, the website, teammbsmedia.com. We got you covered on all fronts. Articles all over the place. Content, shows like this. We got you covered, man. So tune in throughout the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, we have the Off the Dome show weekly. It's every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We just had the finale of the Rankings Roundtable show on Wednesday, which was a fantastic show. Shout out again to Brock and Dan joining me one last time on just an amazing, just such an amazing show. It was really cool, really hilarious. Check it out if you haven't already. And yeah, man, look, like I said at the beginning, thoughts and prayers are for with everyone who is dealing with the California wildfires who had to deal with some loss and just having to deal with this whole transition altogether. Firefighters that are on the front lines. The list goes on and on. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. East Coast. Survive it. It's almost over. Kind of. I don't want to give you false hope, but it's almost over. Again, you can follow me at _ terrific Tom _ on Instagram, on X, a lot more active on Instagram. Actually, I just posted some of the clips from the rankings roundtable on my Instagram. Go ahead and check it out. It was kind of silly, especially me talking about the Chiefs. Kind of hilarious. But yeah, take some time out. Check that out. Give me a follow. You want to talk about anything about your favorite team, anything with the NFL? I got you. And look, man, this is a lot of fun. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Fly, Eagles, fly. Good luck to your teams in the playoffs. Be safe out there. And lastly, join us, baby.